like to give you a brief introduction about our faculty advisor, Dr. Anaga Kulkarni ma'am. Ma'am has worked over 20 Ma'am has over 26 years of experience across academia, 17 years, and software development, 9 years, with work exposure in US, UK, and India. Her expertise include machine learning, deep learning, big data analytics, and information processing with multiple research publication and a book. She is currently the head of information technology department at Cummins College of Engineering. She is a VLocal 2020 Engaged Advocate Award recipient and served as faculty advisor of the SWE Cummins College student chapter for 9 years. Unfortunately, she was unable to join us here today, but her consistent support to SWE team has encouraged us to always inspire and aspire. I would now introduce our Cummins India industry mentor, Sweetie Goel, who was also unable to make here today. She has been working as an assistant professor in material science since 2009, with prior industry experience as a dynamic analysis engineer and senior engineer in gear design and analysis. She holds a BE, Bachelor's of Engineering in Mechanical Engineering from Government Engineering College, Raipur, and an MTech in Tribology from IIT Delhi. So she is our Cummins India industry mentor and has been supporting us for a long time. Okay, now before we jump into the main conversation, let's start by getting to know our speakers in their own words. We see their achievements on LinkedIn, but today, let's hear the story behind them. So I would like to invite Nisha Date to introduce herself first.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I think it's morning there. Um, I am Nisha Date. I am originally from Pune, India. I completed my Bachelor of Engineering in Electronics and Telecommunication from our very own Cummins College. And later I moved on to earn my master's degree in Information Technology Management with a focus in data analytics from the University of Texas. Well, over the past few years, I've built my career in product management along with data analytics, and I'm working with technology companies that are focused on public sector safety data. We'll talk about it a little bit more later. I currently live in Orlando, Florida, with my husband and our 1 year old son. Outside of work, I love experimenting in the kitchen, traveling, and I've recently discovered a passion for scuba diving. I can't wait to talk to you all of you.
Thank you so much, Nisha Di. I will now invite Pragya Di for introducing herself. Pragya Di, are you there?
I think she has not joined it.
Oh, okay, no issues. Mayuri Di, can we have your introduction?
Yeah, sure. Good morning, everyone. Mayuri this side. I'm Mayuri Kirve. I graduated from Cummins College in 2021. I have done my engineering in mechanical engineering, and after that, I joined Mercedes-Benz Research and Development India as trainee. So it was a campus placement via which I received my first job in life. And currently, I'm still working there, enjoying my corporate life and getting to know. And I'm really eager to speak with all of you.
Thank you so much, Di. I will now invite Sonakshi Di, who was former president of SWE, so to please introduce herself.
Thank you, Kruti, and thank you. First of all, thank you to the entire SWE team. This is a great initiative that you have all have started, and it will definitely benefit a lot of folks in college. So, hi everyone. I am Sonakshi Goyal. I am a 2024 graduate from computer engineering from Cummins College. I did my internship in JP Morgan, and through a pre-placement offer, I got placed at JP Morgan, and it's been 1.5 approximately 1.5 years that I am working here in Hyderabad, and glad to talk to you whatever questions or anything or whatever the agenda that SWE has planned. Glad to go through all of that, and thank you so much for having me. Over to you.
Thank you very much. I would now invite Pragya Di to please introduce herself.
Yeah. Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Pragya, and like most of us here, I did my engineering from Cummins in I'm working with currently with Proximus as a consultant, and I have a experience over 6 years. So basically, I have an interest for transformative projects. I have a keen interest on changing processes and improvement from improvement point scope. So yeah, that's about me.
Thank you very much. I would now invite Ishita Shetty to introduce herself. Ishita, are you there?
I think she has not joined it.
Okay, no issues. I think we should start and let's see if she joins in between, if that's fine with everyone.
Yes.
Okay. So, without further await, let's finally start with a set of questions. So, I will first start with Nisha Di. Nisha Di, a lot of students here dream of studying abroad someday, but we honestly don't know from where should we start. From your experience, what should students be aware of, whether financially, academically, or culturally, before planning an MS?
All right, we could talk about this for 6 hours, I feel like. But let's talk about the first part of the question is where do we start? I have personally felt this is coming from a collective experience that I have when we talk amongst friends who've done their masters or even like higher like a certificate program from a university abroad is knowing what you want to do is very important, what area you want to pivot in, because you have to remember that when you chose to pursue your bachelor in engineering, you were at a different juncture of your life. You were probably younger, and now this is another opportunity for you to either bolster the same direction that you're going in, or a it's an opportunity for you to pivot. So as long as you're able to identify your passion is a strong word. This is a hot take. I think that calling it a passion is a strong word if you're just exploring a new topic, but at least understanding this is my area of interest. And this could come from learning a preliminary course in that subject. It could come from an internship. It could come from exposure to that kind of work. It has to come from an experience, educational, academic, something like that. But once you know that area, it's easier to start researching what are your best opportunities. Going abroad can be a goal but shouldn't be the only goal. It should be advancement of your skill. So it could happen domestically, it can happen, it could be a homegrown skill. You just have to identify what you want to do and how you want to get there, and that journey can be defined based on your research. So I wouldn't focus on, okay, let me go to New Zealand and I don't know what I want to do, let me go to New Zealand. That could be a goal and that's completely fine. Then at that point you do your research the other way around, right? You look for what's the best thing that I can go to New Zealand and learn for. I know for a fact it's elementary education certification. If you want to be an elementary school teacher, New Zealand is the country for you. But think about this is your opportunity to pivot. You're getting a second chance. So think about those things and talk to as many people as possible. What's the worst that reach out to people on LinkedIn who've been through that process? What's the worst that can happen? They'll say, no, I don't have the time to talk to you. But as long as you know there is a destination and how to get there is what you should focus on, in my opinion. If anybody else disagrees, I'd love to chat.
That definitely was right. Moving on to Pragya Di, you have had such a diverse journey: accounting, product catalog work, financial operations, and now consulting. Most of us feel pressured to stick to one path. How do you confidently navigate so many different roles?
Okay, so unlike a lot of people, I was not sure of what I wanted to do right after engineering. So my course of action was slightly different. My approach is let me try everything and I'll know what I don't want to do. So that's another approach to reach your destination. So I choose that because not everyone has the clarity on the day one, and that sort of stops you from taking the first step. So my approach was different. I got the opportunity to work in HSBC. I tried to switch internally into different domains because sticking into one does not help for long. Once you know that you have covered everything that or learned everything that you could possibly in a particular situation, you should uh, learn that and move on. to the next thing. Otherwise, in tech world, there's the relevance stops. And also, just knowing one domain won't help for a very long time. So if you have paid notice, so it was accounting for 4.5 years. I did my due time there. I learned everything I could. And then I moved to product catalog of HSBC itself. Now it's a luck by chance. When you head towards one direction, you sort of start in the same domain. So the company I'm working for right now is a government telecom. So now the domain has switched, but the product catalog knowledge that I took from a banking domain can now be used for a telecom too, because technically that stays relevant. So my approach, even when I was in college or post that, has been to try out. If you're not sure you want to do an MS or a masters in something or management, if you're not sure, try to look into the exams that you have to apply. I did that. So I have a GRE book as well as a GMAT book in my home. I try to give that exam. So just try and explore is my saying. Don't hold back, because as girls, I think we have that thing. If I am not having that clarity, let me not do anything till I have that clarity, which will just waste your time. So that was my approach throughout. It's still the same thing that I continue. If I think that something is worth my time, I give that and I move on. If there's always a way to retract, we have that mindset of if we take that step and if we don't like, what then? So you always can move or take a step back, and at least you will know I don't want to go there. So that's kind of approach I took till now in my career. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much for that answer. It definitely might have helped many who want to switch their lanes. So, moving on to Mayuridi, you have been working at Mercedes-Benz R&D for 4 years now, and that sounds incredibly exciting. Can you walk us through what a day at a premium R&D organization actually looks like?
Okay, so just as Pragya said, even my approach was when I just got graduated out of college, I was not sure whether should I go for master's, should I go abroad, or should I do it from IIT, or what should be the course of action. So I took the most obvious step to go for the campus placement, and that's how I landed in Mercedes. Now, when I got in there, the daily work is like, of course, we do designing. Coming from the mechanical background and being in R&D domain, the typical day looks like product designing, stakeholders management, procurement. There are many aspects to it. But if I talk about what one thing which I have learned is, don't hold yourself back. The same thing which Pragya just said. So even my story is a little bit similar to her. I have not switched the company, but inside the organization, I tried different hats just to understand what I am liking. And my approach was, I kept my product as the base constant. I did not play with my daily work or the main product which I was designing, but I added many feathers to it. For 1 year, I tried some different club. For next year, I tried a different innovation. 1 year, I was in the innovation domain and I filed one of my first patents in automotive industry. So the typical day varies for each and every person, whether you are in R&D or in IT or anywhere. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that insight. Let's move on to Sonakshidi. JP Morgan is known to be extremely selective and very high standard. What does your role look like there, and what skills or technologies have been most important for you?
Okay, coming to the first point, JP Morgan is highly selective. So I would just say that it comes early. It is not highly selective. It is very much possible for everyone to get in any company. So that talking about my role, so I work as a software engineer, and software engineer comes with development and all other types of software work. So the major tech stack that I have been using and I have been allocated to work on is Java, Spring Boot, and React and AWS. So how, like, till the point we joined corporate we were more focused on DSA, but later it all turned into a development work. Like DSA of course matters, it comes to play when you have to write solutions that are optimized. Not every time will you use an array, but that is how corporate is. Like all of the people will keep on using arrays, but at a certain point you will realize that a query that you have written, it is very basic but it is not optimized, and it is taking like maybe 10 milliseconds, and the time difference of milliseconds makes a difference. So this is how DSA plays an important role. Like learning DSA in college, this is how it will take effect later. So that is one thing. And apart from that, the other skills I slowly learned on here, like coming to AWS. So some of the certifications are offered in the company for free. So you give the exams and you learn while working also. So there are a lot of things that you come here and learn, and some things you come with a pre-knowledge. So yeah, that is all. And you can always keep on working on development projects, but the major thing should be focusing on DSA for placements. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that insight. Let's move on to Ishita Di. I would want Ishita Di to introduce a little bit, uh, if she can, right now, so that we can move on.
Yes, so hello everyone. Excuse me for my voice. I'm not feeling well lately. But hello, so I'm currently working in Citicorp. So I'm SDE and I have been placed here after my internship at City last year. And my experience at City has been great, and it's been a great learning journey till now. And yeah.
Thank you so much. So let's move on to you. Your switch from ENTC plus data science honors to a full time data engineering role at City is inspiring for so many students from non CS branches. How did you build the skills and confidence to make that transition?
Okay, so coming from a ENTC background, we all have to focus on our core subjects along with the DSA, which is really important for our placements. So during the placement journey, we have to allocate time and bifurcate our learning just accordingly. Like how do we focus on DSA along with some projects which you are working on. Like for example, during my time, I worked on some data science projects, deep learning projects. So it is completely on you, like how you bifurcate your time and how you manage your time wisely. So basically time management is important skill for all of us basically, but even in the corporate as well. So just managing your time wisely and focusing on the things which you think are important. Like it is not important that you focus on the, like, if you are preparing for placements and internships. So at that time you should keep it in your mind that we should focus on completely on the placements, but not hampering your current CGP or your academics as well. So that is important. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So let's move again to Nishadi. So, Nishadi, you now work on data driven solutions in the public sector, which is something many students may not have explored. What does your everyday work looks like in that space?
Sure. So, when I've graduated with my master story time, when I graduated with my master's degree, we had something called a career expo, where it's kind of the opposite of what happens in campus placements. The companies don't come to you; you approach a company which you think is interesting if they show up on campus. So, one of the things that one of the companies that showed up to my campus was they worked for as a data aggregator and building web products for the government. So I genuinely just wanted to know what they did, because in my head I'm thinking I'm not a citizen, I probably don't even qualify for any of their jobs. I was just wondering what they do. I go up, I start talking, and instantly I'm very interested in the things they do, specifically one product which is a search engine for homicide detectives, which is basically it has all the data of every single person who's ever been in the criminal system. And I start asking questions, and this person is like, you seem interested, do you want to apply? Like, why? Basically the question was, why are you here? Like, you haven't asked for a job code, like what's happening, is this going anywhere? So I explained my situation. I said I'm on a student visa, And they say, wait, we have positions that don't require clearance. I'm like, great, let's apply, but I don't have any experience in product, because the role was product ownership. I said, I can come in as a data analyst if you have the position, because I have the experience, I have internships. He said, just apply, let's talk. That is where my journey in product and public sector software started at the same time, which, again, like somebody said, luck by chance, right place, right time. I came on as a product owner where I was looking after sprint planning, I was looking after requirements gathering. It was just the driving factor for me was that I was making a difference in somebody's life, in terms of the fact that there were detectives using this product, relying on this product for safety. I quickly moved into carving myself into a niche of public sector software. My second job was also in public sector software, where I was again building a search engine for background checks. My day to day, in my current position, I'm a senior product manager now. Still in, like I said, I carved myself into a niche. I love working in this space. It's still public sector software. My day to day basically is gathering stakeholder requirements, marrying that with the end user experience, and seeing what is the best strategy for our product. So a lot of it goes in meetings, a lot of it goes in planning with the development team, the way we've structured our organizations, which is very different from a lot of the Facebooks and the Amazons. Because we're a small startup, we have our product managers directly working with the devs on a day-to-day basis. So I'm literally looking at Jira tickets while I'm also talking to a big business, asking them how we can make their product better. So I enjoy this end-to-end pipeline experience. But I'd say, from this experience, I just want to say, if you're curious about something, go ask questions. You don't know where it might lead to. Don't limit yourself. What Pragya said. Don't think about, oh, I don't know. Like, what's the worst? People will say, we don't have the opportunity for you. Or people may say, I don't know what you're talking about. Fine. At least you don't regret you didn't ask.
Most definitely. I think that is where more of us regret. Like, we don't take the first step, and that is where we regret the most. Thank you so much for that insight. Let's move on to Pragyadi. You have seen both sides, college academics and industry expectations. What, according to you, is the biggest difference between what we study and what the real world actually demands?
Okay. So basically, I think there's a limitation in our head when we are studying that suppose if you are interested in MLA, that's exactly how it will be like implementing our fourth year project, and everything will be at a go in your company. That's not how it is. So even for a basic MLAI project, there will be a 6 months just a panel to review if it's worth putting in that money. So that comes as a shocker for a lot of people, and you want everything too fast. But the thing is, for global companies or companies which are associated with government, or they things like this is very critical. Things can translate into fines if not done properly. There are laws to abide to. So those kind of things are not in our minds when we are in college. So we think that we have an idea, we can implement. It's a start. We have that startup kind of a mindset, like we got an idea, let's start building it. But companies don't go with that approach. uh, so that's the biggest difference, I think, that you learn about the process, you are more responsible on the projects that you do, and there's a different course, and most importantly there's a team to take along with you. It's not just you alone to be working. Even the extent of teamwork or collaboration we do in college, that's not the same level that we experience outside. So the flexibility, I think, of how you think about the project work wise or interpersonal relations or anything for that matter, the flexibility has to be there in your mind, that it won't be the same thing that you might exactly be expecting. So go with an open mind. When you are entering any company, give some time to understand how that company works, or the process, or everything, or the work that's there. Slow down to learn first about that place, and then you start contributing where you can, to the degree you can. So that's the difference between the college mindset and when you start working as a professional, I would say.
Yeah, that definitely was true. Let's move on to Mayuridi. Mayuridi, working in a global R&D environment like MBA RDI requires more than just technical skills. From your experience, which skills, technical or soft skills, are absolutely essential for thriving there?
Okay, a typical campus interview question. I feel like I'm giving a campus interview once again. But the honest answer is your technical skill will get you into the company, and to move ahead, you need some soft skills. So if I talk particularly about automotive industry, the very basic things are stakeholder management. As Pragya just rightly said, it's not only you, it's team. And when it's a global company, it's not only your team. There are hundreds of different teams which need to be taken care of all around the world. So the first and most basic flexibility one should have is to work at different hours, because just because Indian working hours are over does not mean that the Mexico or European working hours are over. And the problem can, I mean, when you are in product development, the problem in manufacturing can occur at any hour of the day, and you have to be really ready for that. So that is the very first mindset you need to be ready. You have to take accountability of your own work. If you are working on a project, you are responsible, and some problem arises, be it in any part of the world. If it's China or Japan, the call might be at 4 in the morning. If it's Mexico, it might be 11 in the night. But you have to be on your toes, and you have to show your responsibility proactively that, okay, this is my job, I'm responsible, and I'll take care of it. The second thing which I have observed in a lot of freshers is they tend to learn too many softwares. Again, this I'm talking particularly about the designing domain. So people are like, let me learn CATIA, let me do NX certification. Uh, I think Cummins College still uses SolidWorks, if I'm not wrong, for designing. And people are running after certifications and certifications. But if you look closely, each and every industry has their own softwares. Even if you switch jobs, the core concepts remains same. It's just the UI of the software which changes. But this is one thing which I observe in a lot of freshers, that instead of thinking about the core concept, how the design is actually made, or what are the technical details, they tend to go after learning new softwares, which is just an upgradation of UIs in different versions. So this is one thing. And third and most important thing is language should not be a barrier. So I come from Pune. My mother language is my mother tongue is Marathi. In office, mostly everyone knows we speak in English, but if you're working for a German company or you're working for a Japanese company, it's always an added on skill when you learn that language. So in my college days, I was very much confident that I want to go a little bit towards, Germany side. So in my second year, third year, I started learning German after my college days. Of course, it was very basic level. I learned a lot of new things after I joined office. But yeah, I mean, if even if you're focusing on masters, you should have that added skill. And it's not only about your job, it makes your life much more easy to connect with people in person, online, or even if you are visiting that country, it makes life really easy. So language should not be a barrier at all, be it any country or any industry.
Right. Thank you very much for that insight. I'm sure it might have helped many of the students here. Let's move on to Sonakshi. Cracking JP Morgan is a dream for so many students here. What helped you stand out during the application and interviews?
Okay, so again, story time, like Nishadi just said. So it started first year, it was all online because it was COVID. So, like most of all, I was also lost what is happening. So I just thought that whatever subjects I'm getting, I just have to excel in those. And soon, when the first year was ending, I realized that getting good grades is easy, not easy, but it is okay. But there is something that has to be there in our profile that needs to make us stand out, and there are some skills that we have to learn out of this. Whatever we learn for college exams or everything, that is just for passing the exam, but we are not trying to understand what are the basics. And as Mayuri also said, that basics are really important, basics don't change. So when I came to second year, I realized that there is something DSA that is very booming. We had that subject as a part of our curriculum also, but that was not that is required by the companies. It was simply in curriculum we have some projects like hospital management system or hotel management system. Maybe it might have changed also, but that is not what companies ask. So I realized that okay, there is something big that I have to learn, and I took a course from Coding Ninjas. I'm not sure if it is still trending or not, but anyways, course doesn't matter. The thing that matters is once you know the concepts, like you know what is graph, what is hash map, and you know basics of DP, you start practicing it. And I'm sure that today's college students are more ahead than what we used to be. They already start practicing in the first year. We started in second year, but for us it was early. In my time, actually, people did not start studying it in second year, and that maybe came as an advantage to me because everyone started studying post second year. And JP Morgan came in February. The application process, if I remember correctly, it started in the second year, second semester, February. So we had to give an application. So this was about DSA. Start early and keep on practicing until you get placed, and even after you get placed or get an internship. That is one thing, and for that you can use all the any available platform. Just stick to a particular process. Like if you're doing lead code daily challenge, stick to it, do something apart from that, but don't keep on changing sheets. Like one day you do a 450 question sheet by Love Bubble, next day you change to Striver. This way you're losing track and you're not completing the concepts. And this happened with me. I kept on sticking to arrays and strings for a long period of time, because again and again I started, and again it was arrays and strings. So just stick to one particular process that you have decided. This is for the coding rounds that you have to be a part of. Application basically, of course, the first thing they will see is CGPA. And I would not say that it doesn't matter, it does matter. Not like you have to be 9.5 plus or something like that, but a good CGPA with a good academic profile, that is and eventually that is the first thing you mention in your resume also. After your name and personal details, that is the thing you mention. So that is one thing. Second thing, you might be doing some projects, so to get your application shortlisted by companies, that also matters. Like having those some projects, like it should not be very big. Of course, they are not expecting that at the end of second year, but that is important. And third, if you have some hobbies, you play some sports, or otherwise if you are part of any of the college clubs or committees and you are doing activities outside of your academics, that could be anything, extracurricular, co-curricular, anything. That is the third thing that is important in an application. So all of these things combined along with DSA plays a key role. And if you talk about the process for JP Morgan is that there is a hackathon that happens after you clear your application is shortlisted. Then you have a DSA round, then you have a video interview that is robot based, that is not actual video interview, and the final thing is hackathon. For hackathon, like this is a unique process that is there here, but eventually that helps when you join other companies as well. So for the hackathon, a thing that is important is teamwork, as mentioned by a lot of the seniors. Teamwork is important because in a team you have to develop a project. So basically they're trying to simulate an environment that is similar to the one that you join in corporate and development. So once you clear all the initial rounds, start working on your development skills, because it will benefit once you join also, and for the hackathon also. And development is React, Node, or any tech stack that you like, because the core remains the same. Even if your team decides to work on something else, you will still know how to get the resources and how to make the database connection and everything. So that was all. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Yes, most definitely. That was a great insight about JP Morgan and how it hires. Um, let's move on to Ishitadi. Since you had a pre-placement offer during your internship, how did your summer analyst internship at Citi prepare you for your full-time role?
Okay, so basically during my internship, I had a great team, and it was everything new. Like when you enter a new corporate, so all the things, like you are too excited for the first internship, and everything, like the people, the team, the work, and the tech stack basically. So everything is new for you. So getting used to it and getting a hang of what is still going on, that is important. And you get it, like during the internship everything just moves very fast. Like you just have during my internship I just had 2 months and I was having one complete project. So during my internship I worked on the big data technologies, so Hive, Hadoop, PySpark and everything. So all these technologies were completely new for me, so I haven't worked on them before. And I was lucky enough to get a good mentor during my internship. So he guided me throughout the journey, like right from like I developed a POC is basically a proof of concept. So whenever you in a company they want to implement some uh, new technology, they first have to give a proof of concept. So I developed a proof of concept during my internship, and it got it was implemented later. So during that time, so right from the basics, like how do you approach, like what are the needs, how do you exactly uh, bifurcate, like what are your steps and everything, then how do you move forward with it, how do you get accesses to the database. So in companies you have a huge database, so getting accesses to it, then understanding, like your one small mistake and complete database is gone. So understanding the steps and everything, that is important. So during that internship, that was important. And after that, so my internship journey did help me during after my conversion. So during the internship you get a hang of what is going on, how is the process, and what are the things going on in the company, how are the people there, and what are the steps we need to follow. Then, and after you join the company, it becomes easy for you to understand how are the things going on in the company. You know whom to approach, you know what is the process, so you move fast, rather than like before, like rather than the internship. So that is a difference. But yes, there is a difference between internship and placement after, like after conversion. So that work which I did in internship in 2 months is more than what I did in 6 months right now. So basically that is the difference which I noticed. Because like when I joined City after the conversion, so this time, firstly there is a training, so there is a 1.5 months of training, then it goes like, then you get slowly accesses to the environments and everything, then they teach you how is the team going on, then there are KTs, then you start working. So there is a huge process. So it sometimes it becomes you feel it is a bit slow. So you can get some extra work and everything, you can work on some extra projects. So that is one thing in the this big company. So you get a chance to work on your extra projects as well, so you get to work what you want other than your team as well. So yeah, I hope that answers.
Yeah, surely, definitely, that does. Okay, now this is going to be a really epic or the most asked question to Nisha Di. So, a lot is happening right now with the US admissions, visa delays, stricter rules, and higher financial requirements. Students are confused. In such a changing environment, what should someone who wants to pursue a master's in the US focus on?
All right, that's a great question. I was going to bring this up if it didn't come up in a question. Is I think I came at a simpler time. It was much easier in terms of the admission process. Just the current environment in the country was more conducive to the lookout of somebody who said, "I want to go improve my skill set. I want to go learn something new. I want to see if I can get some foreign work experience." But now I think it's very important for you to consider why you are taking that step to get a master's degree in the US. If it is to come here and work or find your way into this country, if it's your foot in the door, I'd reconsider, because they're making it extremely difficult for the student pathway to get into, okay, I want to call this country my home. If that's the goal, I'd reconsider, reset your expectations, because it's not as easy as it used to be. It is still difficult for us as well. It's just that I was lucky enough to get through the H1B lottery system. I don't know if you guys have heard, there's a lottery system, which is ridiculous. But anyway, so I am at a position where I have the H1B. Even then, it's very difficult for me to wake up every day and wonder, how has the law changed? But it isn't as I'd say it's still a little bit easier for me, because I didn't come here thinking this is it. I want to call this home, and like I want to figure out how I want to stay back. If that is the goal, and it's absolutely not a bad goal to have, because if you've decided you want to call another country home, there are other ways to do it, and I'd explore those over the student visa pathway. Now, if you're only considering leveling your skills up, I've said this before, if you figured out where, even if it's the process of elimination, like Pragya said, you don't want to do this, but you've reached a point where I want to explore this area, look for the right opportunity for you, irrespective of geographic location. Because that degree, because on paper that is what counts, is going to stay with you forever. That experience is going to stay with you forever. Like I said, if moving to another country is the goal, reconsider the US plans. It's no longer that conventional. Let me get an F1, then an H1, and then I'll get my green card. It's not easy. Rules are changing. The environment isn't conducive for you to say, oh, it's just a foot in the door. It's going to take a lot from you. So get ready for that. But if it's just leveling your skills up, definitely. There's great schools here. I had a lot of fun going to my graduate program. It was a very different way of learning. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So far so good. It's going well for me in terms of work authorization, so I'm here. I'm not opposed to the idea of moving back, so I'm not as on the edge. But I do have friends who had made up their mind that they're going to call the US their home, and they're going through a little bit of a struggle, mentally, physically. They're starting families. You're at a point where our generation is at a point where we're starting families and putting down roots. So just reconsider what the goal is, and then take those steps. Again, talk to a lot of people. Just my agenda for life is talk to people. This is the whole reason I'm here on this talk. Is I hope, even if it's 6 words out of the thousands I'm saying, if it reaches somebody and makes sense, great. Or you see my face on LinkedIn, reach out. I promise I'll take it'll be delayed, but I will accept your link request and I will answer your questions. So talk to people and then make decisions.
Yeah, thank you very much for that insight. I mean, there are many students who are aspiring for US, and that really gave a deep insight on what we should plan actually. So let's move on to Pragyadi. Pragyadi, we learned about your interest in transformation projects. For students who may not be familiar with the term, could you explain what business transformation actually means and how it looks in real organizations?
Okay, so there are two kind of projects. One is on scratch, where they hop onto the new technologies and they start building it from scratch. They have the business logic and they'll translate into a project. There are few where there are messed up things left in the organization, specifically which are 150 years old. For example, HSBC has been there for a very long time. Or like Ishita said, there are something called as POC, where you proof of concept something that's part of a transformative project also, where you pick up a old piece, extract the business logic out of it, and now you want to better it. So like Sonakshi was saying, performance improvement kind of things happen. So for example, if there's accounting or trading happening and you want to account for it, make a balance sheet out of it, for a bank like HSBC, it can't take hours and hours. It has to be through and through processing in maybe 30 minutes, 20 minutes. The faster the better, and with accuracy as well. And we are talking about intraday trades, so millions of data. So it's something that's been changing, something that's been stable for a very long time, touching that and making it into taking that into a new tech stack. So it's basically deep diving into existing legacy first of all, understanding what's happening there, and then what tech stack will overcome the performance issue or whatever you're trying to improve. And then POC is a part of it, where you try the new architecture, proof of concept that, okay, whatever we are thinking is going to work. And then that basically is any small level transformative project is also a 2 years project. And if something you're moving a whole accounting system for me for us it took 4.5 years. So that is when we transformed everything that was old Oracle batches, which was one after the other, to microservices, which where everything was real time and processing was way quicker, the accuracy was better, the retry or the failure mechanism was improved. So this kind of processes you tap on one at a time, you POC everything, and then you enhance that. So that is what I like. I like to pick up old legacy stuff and make it into something better, so that the businesses take advantage from it. The same is for product catalog as well. So if a customer wants a particular data in a certain accuracy and with a certain time limit to it, or for banking as well as for telecom, whatever you see or you want to buy or subscribe has to be there properly. You can't mess with the discounts or whatever you are trying to sell as a business. So providing that technically, the system at the back end basically is a legacy. You want to transform it to something where each of those processes or the irritation parts are getting solved at a time. So that's what a transformation project basically looks like. And for some reason I really enjoy that, picking up a thing that's not working and making it work. That's another satisfaction that I get out of it. So yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Unfortunately, Nisha Di has some more commitments right now, and she has to leave. But thank you so much, Nisha Di, for joining us today. And in this crunch of time, you gave us a lot to learn. Lot of your insights were really helpful, especially the last answer which you gave for students who want to pursue masters. That definitely helped many of us here. Thank you so much for having us.
Of course, no, thank you for the opportunity, Kruti. Also, please look me up on LinkedIn. I'll send Kruti my LinkedIn address. Please add me, just send me a message, whatever questions you have. I promise I will, again, slower. I have a 1 year old, slower, but I will get to all of your answers. And just, again, ask questions. Just ask questions. What's the worst? You won't get an answer. Ask questions.
All right.
All right. Thanks so much, you guys. Have a wonderful day.
It was
Wonderful.
really nice to see you, Nishadi.
Of course. Hi, Pragya. We'll talk later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. Okay, so now moving forward, my question goes to Mayuridi. Mayuridi, you're doing an MBA while working full time is a huge challenge. What inspired you to pursue your MBA alongside your job, and how did you stay motivated through that journey?
Okay, so as I had already previously said, I kept my product same, my base same, and I tried adding different feathers on it. And when after 1 year, so my master's journey started way back in college. In my third year, when everyone was preparing for GRE and TOEFL, I was like, what should I do now? Because I did not want to do master's just immediately after my graduation. First, I wanted to know how the industry looks like. I just wanted to make sure, how my life will look like even after I do masters. Maybe the job role will be different, but industry will still remain the same. So I decided let's do job for 1 year or 2 years. And when I was in third year, the COVID pitched in, and that made my life even more easier because no one was traveling abroad. So 90% of our batch they just went for the campus placement, and that's how I landed in job. But around 2022, things were going back to normal, and many people were thinking what should be done next. And I thought, okay, now I have completed 1.5 year in industry, and now it's the time to think what I should do next. And that was when I started talking with a lot of people. Rightly, as Nisha said, I reached out to at least 10 to 15 people on LinkedIn. They were either my seniors or they were some mutual connections of my seniors. Or I just got to know, okay, they have studied in some Pune University college. It's such a random thing which I have did, but I have received help from a lot of people. I have talked with 3, 4 people who did MTech, 3, 4 people who did MBA, and 2 people who did MS. And in so then I was a little bit clear I might want to go ahead with MBA because that was my so that's how I decided for MBA. Now the next question was should I quit my job and do a full time or not. That's when I again reached out. I bucketed people in 2 categories. One category of people who had quitted their jobs and they were doing full time MBA. And then I again found out 2, 3 people who were pursuing part time MBA. So that this phase continued for more than 3 or 4 months. So for 3, 4 months, I was reading articles on internet. I was talking with my mentors, and I was reaching out to people just to know, how they are managing jobs or how was their experience of quitting the job and going back to college, how they are, planning for their placements after masters. And then I thought, okay, if I want to do an MBA, I was pretty sure that after pursuing MBA, I can't go back to my technical role. And being in research and development, I basically work on core mechanical concepts, and it was very difficult to come back to the technical role. That door would have been permanently closed for me. And that's when I thought of having a sweet spot of doing something work integrated, which we call as part-time in layman's language. And believe me, it is a difficult job. So if you ask me, I would say, even if a door gets closed, the second door will open for you. So take that risk, quit your job and do a full-time course if your finances allow you that, because it will give you much more insights. Of course, my MBA has helped me a lot in my work profile also, personally also. But it's really a big thing, and 2 years is really big time commitment. When we are in college, we are just doing college and nothing else. We are chilling after the college gets over, but it's not when you study part-time. You are working from morning 7 to evening 6. After that, you are rushing back home to do your assignments, coursework, etc. And you are working basically 7 days a week for 24 months. So if you are ready to take that bait for 24 months, and there have been times when I have seriously thought, let me just quit it. Either I will quit my job and pursue it full time, or let me just, close my MBA chapter. I really can't handle the commitments. But that's when your professional network comes into picture. My team, my boss has supported me in many ways. I have taken leaves just to finish off my assignments. I remember when my thesis work was going on, my project was also very at critical stage. I was working until 10:30 in the night. Then I was taking my MBA coursework and I used to sleep. And I mean, believe me, if you are ready for that commitment, then only go for a part-time. If your finances allow you, take that risk and go for full-time masters. This is a big lesson which I would like to share with every girl out there, because it's again a thing that it's in our head. We are not ready. What will happen next? And we don't want to take that risk because we don't know the future. We are not ready to take the risk. We are not certain, but live with that uncertainty and take that risk. It will be definitely worth it. You will figure it out on the way. But the important thing is to take the first step to reach out to the people to know what you want to do, and then you can decide how the path should be for you.
Right. Thank you very much. Like many students who would want to pursue a master's degree, MBA, MS, anything while doing a job, they might have learned a lot from this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Moving on to Sonakshi, you have conducted research with IIT Bombay, HBTU, and L3Q. These are incredible opportunities. How did you identify and secure these research roles?
Okay, so I will start one by one. First of all, coming to the IIT Bombay research project, this was through college. Like every year, I don't know if it is still going on. Abba, you could confirm. In computer department, we have Chaya Gosavi ma'am, if most of you know. She is in touch with the professor in IIT Bombay, and every year we get two projects. So this came very initially. I don't know what is the pattern being followed now. Is it 6 month project internship and 6 month, or is it full year courses, final year?
So they have integrated it with 4 month as well, actually. I think so because they had conducted a seminar in
Okay.
around August. So
Okay.
once we complete our 2 month industry internship, we are allowed to pursue it for
Okay.
rest of the 4 months.
And the rest of the 8 months, is it college courses or you're free to do other
Uh,
things?
from
Okay.
January,
Yeah.
it college courses. I think they have changed it for the next batch. That's after us. But
Okay.
for us, it's same.
Oh, got it, got it. Okay, so my time it was the first batch that got this thing that 6 months you will be, not 6 months exactly, you will have from June to December you will be doing any project or internship. It could be a college project or it could be industry internship. But most of the companies did not agree to give a 6 month internship. Some of them agreed. So after the 2 months of internship at JP Morgan, I had like two options. One was that I go for a research project that is like self decided a topic or with a college professor, and the second option was with IIT Bombay. And this IIT Bombay project was based on compiler design. So I was a like everyone, I was a bit skeptical if I should go because compiler won't interest all of us. But I thought that let's give it a try since this is a big opportunity and a lot of people might not be applying. What will go wrong? I will do something else for the 4 months and I will do this as a part time. So I went for it. Basically, what is the process is that groups apply, or I don't know if this time it was individuals apply for it. Then the professor, Uday Khedkar, who is in IIT Bombay, a very good professor, a very research oriented person, which will help you gain a like a good understanding of how a research project goes ahead. He comes and he gives you a question and you have to solve it as a group in some time. And give your opinion. So it is all the compiler concepts are tested, nothing, because I literally
Sorry to interrupt, Sonakshi. I think your internet is low because we are not able to hear you properly.
now is it okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so yeah, so once I got into the project, I had this thing that I want to have research projects in my resume because I wanted to pursue masters again. So that would be a good highlight when going abroad. So that is why I wanted to get a research project, and then I went for this. It was a good experience. I learned a lot how projects are driven. It is not continuous development. Like what difference in corporate and research is. Corporate, you will have to give continuous deliveries, but research, everything goes on your own pace where you decide how much of depth you want to go of a topic, and you explore something that is undiscovered, which is different from corporate where you just have to build a feature quickly. So that was the difference. And this was about IIT Bombay project. It turned out really well. I was able to complete whatever was the set expectation. And talking about the L3 Cube internship, L3 Cube was a minor thing, like it was a NLP project. I started to get my hands into it, could not complete it, but it was a good exposure otherwise. And this was through LinkedIn that I had approached a professor, not a professor, a person who drives this L3 Cube internships. And they conducted a small round of interview and why I want to join. This was that. Uh, Talking about the HBTO, that was through cold mailing. So in second year, I tried cold mailing few professors, but this was one of the topic that I had, denoising CT images. I really liked something, though I did not have a very good knowledge in second year. So I tried cold mailing few professors. This was a professor who replied from HBTU. Uh, Sorry. Okay. I will take that question at the end if that's fine. I don't know from which part I broke, so from where to repeat, but I will definitely take it. Then this was one thing. But if you want to go on the path of research projects and research internships during the college time, I know it is difficult. First way could be going through your own professors. They could guide you on some topics they might be having, or they might connect you to some professors of other colleges. Second is cold mailing. That is a bit difficult task because of 100 emails we hardly get 10 responses, and those are not also that we want. So that is the second thing. Or third thing, if you have your own idea, just go on it, and if you need some help, you could approach a professor or a senior or any alumni who is working in that domain and who might be interested. So this is how the research part of it looks like. It might not seem that interesting, but if you are planning to go masters abroad, that helps. And plus, if you have a research mindset, then there is no stopping for you. This is an open forum. So that was it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we would really love for you to talk about IIT Bombay experience again post the set of questions we are done. So,
Sure, sure.
thank you very much. Moving on to Ishitadi. Many students are curious about how large banking systems work. What does a normal day look like for you as a technology analyst working on large scale financial platforms?
Okay, so large banking systems, they do have some complicated systems. Like there are some teams, like there is some hierarchy which we follow. So there is one team, then there is a parent team, there are sibling teams. So yes, so and there is a huge dependency of teams between each other. So that is one thing in all such huge banking systems. And from, like, if we are talking about banks, so there comes a huge responsibility of privacy and security. So at each step, whenever we code or whenever we, even try to look at something, look at the previous code or existing projects, we do have to take care of the security and privacy concerns at each step. So we have to take certain accesses, we have to request them. Then that is a huge process. So, and for each process there is a definite path you have to follow, and that is one thing. And for, like, whenever you are developing something, there is a pipeline which you have to follow. There is a, there is a team dependency. Like we are working in a team, like Pragyati said earlier. So if I'm working on something, I do have some dependency on some other team member of mine. So we have to have a nice team bonding and nice team work, basically. So that is one thing. And being a technology analyst, so currently my day looks like I am working on some projects which my team works. Also, I have taken up some extra projects rather than my team, because I wasn't like, you some, you don't get the work you want every time when you are in a team. So whenever you want something extra, you want to work on something you like, rather than what your team is having. So that is something called as a stretch project. So other than your daily activities and other than your daily routine task, you work on them, so you get some extra stretch projects, so you can work on them as well. So I'm even working on some extra stretch projects also. During in such big corporations and organizations, you have some volunteering activities going on. Some, yesterday I played box cricket with my team. So yeah, so these are the activities which go on continuously. So it's very important that you participate in them as well. That is a huge networking opportunity. You get to talk to people you don't know, you get to talk to some other teams. So you can have a network, good network, we could say, so that it could help you in your next corporate journey and everything. So this other, like, not on just the teamwork, like not just the work, but these other activities as well, like the volunteering activities which are held, the the communities which are going on, the drives which are taking part, like the plantation drives and everything, then these game nights and everything. So these are also important, so that you could build connections and network, and you can utilize these networks while growing in your career as well. So yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that such important tip for many students who will be now paving their way into the full-time roles might learn from this a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, I would just like to add something to what
Sure.
Ishita said. So I'll give it a very technical answer, so bear with me. So for banking, basically there are any application mostly will be divided into three parts: just the domain, business logic out of it. Then there would be APIs where data transfer is happening. That depends on which tech, that's another thing. And database. So if someone is already placed, I don't know how the crowd is right now. If someone is already, they know they are going into some domain or some company, these are the three ways where you can start sort of prepping yourself already. So if rest, the older one was soap rest, now what is the thing that's used? So GraphQL is better in querying and processing. So just Google it out, how it is, what it is. Just prepping yourself before going on the role also helps. And if it's a database, then relational or NoSQL, which one in NoSQL is being used most? Is it MongoDB? What is, just reach out to the people in your team existingly, or if you already know what kind of database they are using, make sure you know the basic queries. That will just help you before going on job. So, or from application perspective, when once you get the accesses and everything, you just sit and look into the application and documentation. It's a very boring thing, but go through the documentation and have your own documentation created. That will help hell lot, because you can't remember everything. And banking being a data intensive space, you have to know better about processing, and so the basics of database, the application, how to transfer data, these kind of information. I know it's very generic on the sound of it, but someone who's very technically interested should focus on the first basics, where you just know the relational, then NoSQL, or how, if it's querying Oracle, okay, PLSQL, what is the next big thing where processing can be like improved. So this kind of thing will keep you interested, on your toes, and it will make you relevant eventually in the company. So yeah, that's my add-on.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for giving that insight. Now we come to a final set of questions. Let's start with Pragyadi. With 6 years of experience behind you, what is one mistake students commonly make while starting their careers?
Not being interested if they don't get the job that they like. I think whatever role or profile you get, or the kind of application you get, I know it's sort of irritating, but overcome that and try and understand as much as you can from whatever you have been given. And as Ishita said, there are few things where you can satisfy that tech urge or the hobby kind of things. There are other things where you can satisfy that, but whatever you get on the job, make sure you are making the most out of it. You won't know that you'll start liking it eventually if you stick at it. And so I think personally people sort of start moving away from it if they're not liking it. But the hack to it is to stay close to it, so that you know exactly if you're giving right amount of time to make that decision or not. Don't be too impulsive to say I hate it, I like it, I whatever it is. Don't be too impulsive, because you start liking the same thing you have been put into eventually, or you might know really. So give it the time that it deserves. Don't be impatient, and do some additional things if you are not satisfied on the go for your personal growth. And I think